Dr. Demento.
Spring is here, a suffering is here. Life is skittles and life is beer. I think the loveliest time of the year is the spring. I do, don't you? Of course you do. But there's one thing that makes spring complete for me, and makes every Sunday a treat for me. All the world seems in tune on a spring afternoon when we're poisoning pigeons in the park. Every Sunday you'll see my sweetheart and me as we poison the pigeons in the park. When they see us coming, the birdies all try and hide, but they still go for peanuts when coated with cyanide. The sun's shining bright, everything seems all right when we're poisoning pigeons in the park. We've gained notoriety and caused much anxiety in the Audubon Society with our games. They call it impiety and lack of propriety and quite a variety of unpleasant names. But it's not against any religion to want to dispose of a pigeon. So if Sunday you're free, why don't you come with me and we'll poison the pigeons in the park. And maybe we'll do in a squirrel or two while we're poisoning pigeons in the park. We'll murder them all amid laughter and merriment, except for the few we take home to experiment. My pulse will be quickening with each drop of strychnine we feed to a pigeon. It just takes a smidgen to poison a pigeon in the park.
This week we salute Tom Lehrer on the Dr. Demento Show. There was the rare orchestral version of Poisoning Pigeons in the Park, released only as a single. Tom Lehrer, a man who hasn't recorded a note for almost 20 years and performs in public only on the rarest of occasions, but he's still, year in and year out, one of our most requested artists. And a stage review based on his old songs called Tom Foolery is performed regularly all over the English-speaking world. Tom Lehrer began writing and performing his satiric songs about 1950 when he was a mathematics student at Harvard. At first it was strictly a hobby, but people around Harvard found his songs so entertaining that Tom was persuaded to put together an album of some of his songs, which he paid for himself and released on the Lehrer Records label in 1953. One of the cuts was his own idea of what a Harvard University fight song should sound like.
Harvard, fight, 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 demonstrate to them our skill. Albeit they possess the might, nonetheless we have the will. How we will celebrate our victory, we shall invite the whole team up for tea. How jolly, hurl that spheroid down the field and fight, fight, fight. Harvard, fight, 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 impress them with our prowess, do. Oh fellows, do not let the crimson down, be of stout heart and true. Come on chaps, fight for Harvard's glorious name. Won't it be peachy if we win the game? Oh goody, let's try not to injure them, but fight, 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 let's not be rough though. Fight, 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 and do fight fiercely. Fight, fight, fight.
Well, that's a cut from the original 10-inch album, Songs by Tom Lehrer. Yes, it was a smaller size record, 10 inches across instead of the 12-inch size you usually see. And at first you could only get it around the Harvard campus or through Tom's post office box in Cambridge. But gradually the word spread from campus to campus across the country, and within a few years that little album had sold hundreds of thousands of copies with hardly any airplay. It was truly the underground hit of the decade. And so, with some reluctance, Tom Lehrer gave up his mathematical studies and spent a couple of years on tour doing concerts, and in the process recorded a live album composed of the same songs that were on that little 10-inch, but with spoken introductions that were often as funny as the songs. Let's hear a couple of cuts from the now quite hard-to-find album Tom Lehrer Revisited.
Almost every day during the hunting season, you see at least one item in the newspapers about somebody who has shot somebody else under the impression that he was a deer with a red hat, perhaps. Maybe a large, flesh-colored squirrel. At any rate, it seems to me that this marks an encouraging new trend in the field of blood sports and deserves a new type of hunting song, which I present herewith. I always will remember 'twas a year ago November, I went out to hunt some deer on a morning bright and clear. I went and shot the maximum the game laws would allow, 2 game wardens, 7 hunters, and a cow. I was in no mood to trifle, I took down my trusty rifle and went out to stalk my prey. What a haul I made that day. I tied them to my fender and I drove them home somehow. 2 game wardens, 7 hunters, and a cow. The law was very firm, it took away my permit, the worst punishment I ever endured. It turned out there was a reason, cows were out of season and one of the hunters wasn't insured. People ask me how I do it and I say there's nothing to it. You just stand there looking cute and when something moves, you shoot. And there's 10 stuffed heads in my trophy room right now. 2 game wardens, 7 hunters, and a purebred Guernsey cow. I have time for one more here. This one is a little song dedicated to the Boy Scouts of America. We seem to have a convention here tonight. The Boy Scouts of America, those noble little bastions of democracy. And the American Legion of Tomorrow. Their motto is, I would like to state at this time that I am not now and have never been a member of the Boy Scouts of America. Their motto is, as you know, be prepared, and that is the name of this song. Be prepared, that's the Boy Scouts marching song. Be prepared, as through life you march along. Be prepared to hold your liquor pretty well. Don't write naughty words on walls if you can't spell. Be prepared to hide that pack of cigarettes. Don't make book if you cannot cover bets. Keep those reefers hidden where you're sure that they will not be found. And be careful not to smoke them when the scoutmaster's around, for he only will insist that they be shared. Be prepared. Be prepared. That's the Boy Scout's solemn creed. Be prepared. And be clean in word and deed. Don't solicit for your sister, that's not nice, unless you get a good percentage of her price. Be prepared. And be careful not to do your good deeds when there's no one watching you. If you're looking for adventure of a new and different kind, and you come across a Girl Scout who is similarly inclined, don't be nervous, don't be flustered, don't be scared. Be prepared.
We're celebrating the genius of Tom Lehrer on the Dr. Demento Show. Those two songs were from the album Tom Lehrer Revisited, which was mainly distributed in England and Australia. In 1959, Tom finally put out an album with all new songs, new to records anyway. Actually, it was two albums because this time he put out simultaneous live and studio versions of the same set of songs. The live album was the much more successful of the two, and it's still available today. In fact, it's called An Evening Wasted with Tom Lehrer. The man has always been given to self-deprecation. He celebrates his brief career in the military with this song.
Of every man in our platoon must swell with pride, for the nation's youth, the cream of which is marching at his side, for the fascinating rules and regulations that we share, and the quaint and curious costumes that we're called upon to wear. Now Al joined up to do his part, defending you and me. He wants to fight and bleed and kill and die for liberty. With the hell of war he's come to grips, policing up the filter tips. It makes a fella proud to be a soldier. When Pete was only in the 7th grade, he stabbed a cop. He's real RA material, and he was glad to swap his switchblade and his old zip gun for a bayonet and a new M1. It makes a fella proud to be a soldier. After Johnny got through basic training, he was a soldier through and through when he was done. Its effects were so well rooted that the next day he saluted a good humor man, an usher, and a nun. Now Fred's an intellectual, brings a book to every meal. He likes the deep philosophers, like Norman Vincent Peale. He thinks the Army's just the thing because he finds it broadening. It makes a fella proud to be a soldier. Now Ed flunked out of 2nd grade and never finished school. He doesn't know a shelter half from an entrenching tool, but he's going to be a big success. He heads his class at OCS. It makes a fella proud to be a soldier. Our old mess sergeant's taste buds had been shot off in the war, but his savory collations add to our esprit de corps. To think of all the marvelous ways they're using plastics nowadays, it makes a fella proud to be a soldier. Our lieutenant is the up-and-coming type. Played with soldiers as a boy, you just can't bet. It is written in the stars, he will get his captain's bars, but he hasn't got enough box tops yet. Our captain has a handicap to cope with, sad to tell. He's from Georgia, and he doesn't speak the language very well. He used to be, so rumor has, the dean of men at Alcatraz. It makes a fella proud to be what as a kid I vowed to be. What luck to be allowed to be a soldier at ease.
Tom Lehrer on the Dr. Demento Show. As I mentioned, there was also a studio version of that album, which is now quite rare. But just for the heck of it, I'll play you one of his best-known songs from that period in the studio version. That'll be right after this.
It's not just your cough. It's hard to breathe. For relief, feel the strength of Benylin Decongestant Cough Formula from the makers of Benylin. Relieve your cough with Benolin's proven cough suppressant diphenhydramine, and with its nasal decongestant, breathe easier. Strength you can feel. Benylin Decongestant Cough Formula from Park Davis. Our strength is your relief. Use as directed for coughs due to colds.
Dentyne, the gum so snappy and tingly it bites you back, wants to know, where were you when you got bitten?
I was just strolling, and for a minute there, I couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time.
That zappy flavor hit me on an elevator. I got some very interesting looks.
And Dentyne's great-tasting tingle freshens your breath.
Fred was asking for my hand, but I got such a jolt I handed him the gum.
Chew Dentyne, the gum that bites you back.
Dr. Demento!
There's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen and rhenium, and nickel, neodymium, neptunium, germanium, and iron, americium, ruthenium, uranium, europium, zirconium, lutetium, vanadium, and lanthanum, and osmium, and astatine, and radium, and gold, protactinium, and indium, and gallium, and iodine, and thorium, and thulium, and thallium. There's yttrium, ytterbium, actinium, rubidium, and boron, gadolinium, niobium, iridium, and strontium, and silicon, and silver, and samarium, and bismuth, bromine, lithium, beryllium, and barium. There's holmium and helium and hafnium and erbium and phosphorus and francium and fluorine and terbium and manganese and mercurium, molybdenum, magnesium, dysprosium and scandium and cerium and cesium and lead, praseodymium and platinum, plutonium, palladium, promethium, potassium, polonium and tantalum, technetium, titanium, tellurium and cadmium and calcium and chromium and curium. There's sulfur, californium, and fermium, berkelium, and also mendelevium, einsteinium, nobelium, and argon, krypton, neon, radon, xenon, zinc, and rhodium, and chlorine, carbon, cobalt, copper, tungsten, tin, and sodium. These are the only ones of which the news has come to Harvard. And there may be many others, but they haven't been discovered.
Tom Lehrer with The Elements. That's from the hard-to-find album More of Tom Lehrer, probably the rarest of Tom's albums. I used to always refer to him as the professor on this show, at least until I finally met him, and he politely informed me that he had never been a real professor. But he now spends 6 months of each year as a lecturer, teaching various classes at the University of California at Santa Cruz. I understand he sometimes sings for his students, but that's been virtually the extent of his performing for the last 25 years. Shortly after the release of An Evening Wasted with Tom Lehrer, you see, Tom Lehrer simply decided that he didn't care for the life of a celebrity entertainer, and he simply quit just like that. Well, actually, he was talked out of retirement in 1965 to write some songs for a TV series called That Was the Week That Was, and that year he recorded a live album of songs from that show at the famous nightclub called The Hungry Eye in San Francisco, and one of those songs brings us back to his original calling as a scholar of mathematics.
Some of you who have small children may have perhaps been put in the embarrassing position of being unable to do your child's arithmetic homework because of the current revolution in mathematics teaching known as the new math. So as a public service here tonight, I thought I would offer a brief lesson in the new math. Tonight, we're going to cover subtraction. This is the first room I've worked for a while. It didn't have a blackboard, so we will have to make do with more primitive visual aids, as they say in the ad biz. Consider the following subtraction problem, which I will put up here. 342 minus 173. Now, remember how we used to do that. 3 from 2 is 9, carry the 1, and if you're under 35 or went to a private school, you say 7 from 3 is 6, but if you're over 35 and went to a public school, you say 8 from 4 is 6. And carry the 1, so we have 169. But in the new approach, as you know, the important thing is to understand what you're doing rather than to get the right answer. Here's how they do it now. You can't take 3 from 2. 2 is less than 3, so you look at the 4 in the tens place. Now that's really 4 tens, so you make it 3 tens, regroup, and you change a 10 to 10 ones, and you add them to the 2 and get 12, and you take away 3, that's 9. Is that clear? Now instead of 4 in the tens place, you've got 3 because you added 1, that is to say 10 to the 2, but you can't take 7 from 3, so you look in the hundreds place. From the 3, you then use 1 to make 10 ones, and you know why 4 plus minus 1 plus 10 is 14 minus 1, because addition is commutative, right? And so you got 13 tens, and you take away 7, and that leaves 5. Well, 6, actually, but the idea is the important thing. Now go back to the hundreds place. You're left with 2, and you take away 1 from 2, and that leaves... Everybody get 1? Not bad for the first day. Hooray for new math, new math. It won't do you a bit of good to review math. It's so simple, so very simple, that only a child can do it. Now that actually is not the answer that I had in mind, because the book that I got this problem out of wants you to do it in base 8. But don't panic. Base 8 is just like base 10, really, if you're missing 2 fingers. Shall we we have a go at it? Hang on. You can't take 3 from 2. 2 is less than 3, so you look at the 4 in the 8's place. Now that's really 4 8s, so you make it 3 8s, regroup, and you change an 8 to 8 1s, and you add to the 2, and you get 1 2 base 8, which is 10 base 10, and you take away 3, that's 7. Okay? Now, instead of 4 in the 8's place, you've got 3 because you added 1, that is to say 8, to the 2, but you can't take 7 from 3, so you look at the 64s. 64. How did 64 get into it? I hear you cry. Well, 64 is 8 squared, don't you see? Well, you ask a silly question, you get a silly answer. From the 3, you then use 1 to make 8 1s. You add those 1s to the 3, and you get 1 3 base 8, or in other words, in base 10, you have 11, and you take away 7, and 7 from 11 is 4. Now go back to the 64s. You're left with 2, and you take away 1 from 2, and that leaves... Now, let's not always see the same hands. 1, that's right. Whoever got 1 can stay after the show and clean the erasers. Hooray for new math, new math. It won't do you a bit of good to review math. It's so simple, so very simple, that only a child can do it. Come back tomorrow night. We're gonna do fractions.
Tom Lehrer and new math. I'd give anything to see Tom Lehrer make a comeback, but it's his life and he seems to be enjoying himself in semi-obscurity. There's one more song from the That Was the Year That Was album, which, except maybe for one line about television news anchors of the 60s, hasn't aged a day. And as long as the threat of nuclear war hangs over us, it'll still be as fresh as tomorrow's newspaper.
So long, Mom, I'm off to drop the bomb, so don't wait up for me. But while you swelter down there in your shelter, you can see me on your TV. While we're attacking frontally, watch Brinkley and Huntley describing contrapuntally the cities we have lost. No need for you to miss a minute of the agonizing Holocaust. Yeah! Little Johnny Jones, he was a U.S. pilot, and no shrinking violet was he. He was mighty proud when World War III was declared. He wasn't scared, no siree. And this is what he said on his way to Armageddon. So long, Mom, I'm off to drop the bomb, so don't wait up for me. But though I may roam, I'll come back to my home, although it may be a pile of debris. Remember, Mommy, I'm off to get a commie, so send me a salami and try to smile somehow. I'll look for you when the war is over, an hour and a half from now.
A song for World War III. So long, Mom, winding up our profile of Tom Lehrer on the Dr. Demento Show. Now here's one by an artist that I very rarely play, but she's done a nice job reviving this novelty Christmas single from the 1950s, and she's putting out an album called A Very Special Christmas, which is for a very worthy cause, the Special Olympics. Here's Madonna.
Santa baby, slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa baby, an outer space convertible to light blue. I'll wait up for you, dear Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. The fun I've missed. Think of all the fellas that I haven't kissed. Next year I could be oh so good if you'll check off my Christmas list. Biddle, Santa honey, I want a yacht, and really that's not a lot. I've been an angel all year, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa cutie, there's one thing I really do need, the deed to a platinum Santa baby, and fill my stocking with a duplex and checks. Sign your ex on the line, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Come and trim my Christmas tree with some decorations bought at Tiffany's. I really do believe in you. Let's see if you believe in me. Ba-doo, Santa baby, forgot to mention one little thing, a ring. I don't mean on a phone, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry down the chimney tonight.
Santa Baby. Eartha Kitt made that song famous in 1953. 34 years later, it's Madonna's turn. On the Dr. Demento Show, it's almost Funny Five time.
We're on the road with REO's Speedwagon, brought to you by Milky Way Bar. REO's concerts improve with age, says Neil Dowdy.
About the last night of the show, of the tour, we should have it perfect.
Catch REO when they roll into Columbus, Georgia, November 9th, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, the 11th, Sioux City, Iowa, the 13th, Salina, Kansas on the 14th, and Champaign, Illinois, November 15th. And for the latest on REO's tour, keep listening to the Westwood One radio networks.
Dentine, the gum so snappy and tingly it bites you back, wants to know, where were you when you got bitten?
Ooh, I was rapping along with my beatbox. I actually missed a few beats.
I was bowling when the flavor bit me. I forgot to let go of the ball.
And Dentine's great tasting tingle freshens your breath.
Sue and I were waiting for a bus. We just let it go by.
Chew Dentine, the gum that bites you back.
You're getting a cough. That irritated, scratchy feeling. For relief, feel the strength of Benylin. With its cough suppressant diphenhydramine. No other leading cough medication has it, and it's available without prescription. Strength you can feel. Benylin from Park Davis. Our strength is your relief. Use as directed for coughs due to colds.